Hi, welcome to this video. This is the last video in our polyvagal and stretching series for the month of March. What we'll do today is get into a twist. So far we've done flexion, we've done extension, we've done lateral flexion, even a little bit of hip opening, and now we will get into the twist or lateral rotation. So before we do that, we'll do our usual of checking in with ourselves with our breath. So find a comfortable position and get yourself fully here. Embody your body. So if you need to roll out the shoulders, you could do that. If you need to wiggle or shake out the arms for a moment, whatever you need to help you be still and help you meet yourself where you're at in this moment. Then you can close your eyes. Place your arms on your lap or your hands on your lap or your knees. And take a few breaths here. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose or your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Continuing to breathe at your own pace. Seeing which polyvagal state you might be in today. Now, there's no right or wrong. No state is worse or bad than the other. It's really just trying to see, hey, do I need to be in this state? Do I want to be in this state? Would I like to regulate my nervous system? And then if you answer those questions and it's like, yes, I want to be in ventral vagal, then this is just information that can help you get there. And now if you're doing all the inner work and you're like, I still can't feel calm, there's conditions, there's certain things either mentally or physically that can block us in being able to find the ventral vagal state that we're looking for. And so that can also be information. So say you're coming to class, you're breathing, you're stretching, you feel like you're doing all the things, you're sleeping, you're trying to eat right, and yet something just still feels off. That's where we would need to search for additional support, maybe your doctor, your therapist, or just kind of searching in with yourself of what you need, especially if you spend most of your time not listening to yourself, then finding that connection to come back to yourself. So let's take a few more breaths here. And then prepare yourself to move once more. So coming out of your stillness, we will come down onto our backs. So knees bent, scoot your bottom forward and then roll onto your back, laying all the way down. You can hug the knees in for a moment. You can rock side to side. And then inhale, find stillness, and exhale, supine twist with the knees bent. So both knees bent, lower them over to your left. Now I'm just going to adjust a little bit so that I can stay on my mat. But lower the knees to the left. The left hand can be on the right thigh. The right hand can go into a goalpost, so opening the arm out to the side, keeping the elbow in a 90-degree angle, palm faces up. The chin can go over to the right shoulder. Maybe your feet squeak on your mat. And then let's see what's happening here. So sometimes we get the cue that this knee needs to stack perfectly over the bottom knee. And I find what's more important is staying with your breath as you twist. And so if there's a gap between your knees, if it's not perfectly stacked, but you're able to breathe, typically that's going to be okay. And so I often don't actually have my knees perfectly stacked. I also found that when I was trying to perfectly stack my knees, I don't know if it was because I was going into maybe a stress response, but it actually didn't feel good for my body. And I kind of felt like sometimes I would tweak my back or tweak my hips. And so let yourself breathe into this twist. Feel space in the outer right rib cage. Sometimes we feel it's necessary to please others around us, and that is a stress response. That's known as fawning. And so if you're in this posture and you're like, oh, I need to do this right. Like if I'm looking for approval from a teacher and I want them to be like, yeah, you got it. That's okay. We all want approval at some point. It feels good to be validated, to be noticed. However, if you're doing it to please someone else and it actually isn't working for you, it's actually maybe even harming you, then that's where the issue kind of lies is, okay, well, people pleasing is a way to survive, but if we are looking to thrive, then we would need to let that go. And then the other thing is with my dog barking, we take on the states of the energy that's around us. And so I think she hears somebody barking out there, another doggy. And so, she's automatically responding and in that state. That happens with us as well. And so if you feel like you're around somebody just with really bad negative energy, is how I usually hear it being described. Chances are, yeah, you're picking up on what kind of state they're in, and it's hard not to co-regulate and be in the same state with them. Inhale, bring your knees to center. And exhale, let's find a supine twist on the other side. So bring the knees over to the right, and then let your left arm come into your goal post. Top arm or right hand on the top thigh, chin to left shoulder. And then we'll do our best here to stay regulated while the dogs have a bark off. And so when you become a parent, I think many parents can relate to this, where now you have this little person and they don't know what to do with their emotions. They don't know what to do with their nervous state and system state and like what they're feeling and how to regulate. And so somehow you have to stay calm in the storm of their emotions. And they're looking to you as the example of what to do. And so it's through practice, it's by being here and showing up, giving compassion. That's how we're going to stay regulated, even despite others around us maybe not being in that same state, which makes it inevitably harder. And now sometimes we think that things need to be easy. If things aren't easy, then maybe we're on the wrong path. But oftentimes what I find is we need to face the struggle. We need to let ourselves struggle, let ourselves have difficulty in order to figure it out. That way we can see that we're capable and we can create beautiful things. It reminds me of gardens, right? They start out as dirt. There's not much there. You don't see much beauty until they bloom. And that's when you realize that something deeper, something bigger has been happening all along. Inhale, come to center. Give yourself a hug. Draw the forehead to your knees. Grab the backs of the thighs. You can flex at the ankles. Draw the toes towards you. Curling up into a tiny, tiny ball. Inhale. And then exhale. Option to come into Shavasana, letting the legs go long. Heels in, toes out, arms at the side of the body, palms facing up, eyes closed. Feeling the body come back to a neutral position without having to activate or engage as much. Taking a breath in and a breath out. Now, I often have to open through the front of the hip flexors because I tend to sit a lot or just kind of get tight here. So if you want to bend the knees, feel free. Have the feet hip width, arms at the sides, palms facing down. Inhale, bridge pose. You can lift the hips just a little bit as you squeeze into your glute muscles and draw the heels energetically back towards you, engaging through the whole back of the legs. And then feeling this nice opening through the hip flexors, but then also feeling an engagement in the pelvic floor. So trying to engage the spot above your pubic bone. Inhale and exhale, lower down. Option to just kind of lay on your mat as long as you'd like. But for now, this is where we'll go in this class. Thank you so much for being here. And feel free to share any comments below of how this went for you, what you thought, and what you would like to see next time. Namaste.
Thank you for sharing this practice with me today. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need a little calm today. See you next time.